following is a podcast from thefinalsprint.com, the internet's premier running, fitness, and nutrition publication. Start here, finish strong.
I also found that it helps to have that professional aspect of it, helps them better explain what they're doing to their peers and their parents. And oftentimes they graduate from college and they say, are you going to start using that degree that you have? And if they can turn around and say, hey, I am making six figures right now, I think that sometimes is not as important to the athlete as it is to the athlete to be able to explain to the parent so that I can chase my dream. This isn't just some hobby, this is a profession for me.
Sure, and I think it goes beyond that too. I mean, although, Without Limits certainly did a good job of showing Steve, Prefontaine as this impoverished runner. But people like, Peter Gilmore and Brian Sell, maybe they could have hit this level a little bit earlier if they weren't doing part-time jobs and they could have, got the altitude training in earlier in their career.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Absolutely. We're really excited by that. We hope that it makes a difference with just the talent pool as well that comes into the sport. We just hope that it adds from several different dynamics. So
great. So your team kind of has this reputation of being like a little bit different, characters like Brian Sell, and just also but also a lot more hardworking. Not necessarily doing more mileage, but seem to be the more passionate among runners. Do you think that's because just the people that you happen to get, or is some type of philosophy that exists among your team that even creates that?
It's a group dynamic. I mean, you get the people, and certainly they're coming at we like being known as Detroit's a blue collar town. We like that we're from Detroit. That's a good thing, and people sometimes have a negative impression. There's a work ethic that a lot of our athletes have. There's a lot of Midwesterners involved in the program, but we get them from all over the country, and certainly those that come seem to embrace that or want to be a part of that sort of an idea. And certainly Brian Sell, as accomplished as he is, can sort of set that trend, and he's very much that type of a person that just believes that he needs to work harder to become great, and that's what he does, and I think it's a great example.
We're attracted to those kind of athletes because that's how we are in everything. We opened our first store with not enough money to open a store. And so everybody said, you're not going to make it and it's not going to work. And then it became 2 stores. And now you guys are at 3 stores. You're overextending yourselves and you're not doing this. And we like to be told what we can't do. And when we started the program, they said, everyone said, well, nice, cute, cuddly idea, but in actuality, you're not really going to make a dent in what's going on out there because it's much bigger than you guys. And even when some of the top athletes would graduate from college, as recently as 2-3 years ago, people would say to us, well, you know what though, they're going to go big time. They're going to go someplace where they're going to get
jump right over you guys.
They're going to jump over you guys and get like a $100,000 a year contract or something. Wow. Well, okay, we have that now too. So we like when people try to put limits, because anytime they put limits, it gives us something to try to prove them wrong.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's why we nicknamed Brian for the interview we'd done with him the working man's running hero. The fact that he works at Home Depot kind of makes it even better because he's got the little orange apron and all. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, you should run with that.
He really is. He really is. Brian's. If Brian has any fault as an athlete, it's that when he starts to get fatigued in training, he has a hard time holding back because he considers holding back to be a weakness. And so if he's holding back, he's not working as hard as he can, and therefore, and he's that way, Brian is that way in life. I mean, Brian doesn't need to work at Home Depot,
sure.
But you know what? He wants to work at Home Depot. He wants to, he wants to be getting his hands dirty.
It's
that's
great.
The way he is.
It's definitely real impressive. It also definitely adds to being a little different image, but I think that's a good thing. I think it's good for running too.
We're impressed with Brian's image as well because we think that as much as we're coaches and sponsors and all of that, we're fans too. And we're Yes.
And Kevin kind of alluded to the fact that when we started our store, we started on very much of a shoestring budget, and we come from a blue collar background, so that's something that not everybody is aware of. But certainly we certainly didn't grow up with money, and so for us, we appreciate that blue collar work ethic, and that's what we consider our roots.
It's great. I mean, although I'm from New York, I did go to school in Indiana, and we started our company with pretty much nothing, me typing. Yeah,
exactly
so
right.
I can relate, and I like that a lot. So what do you guys think? The Brooks running chances are at the men's trials in this fall?
It's going to be an exciting field. Certainly, it's the most competitive American field
crowded
ever
field.
assembled. But you know, we certainly like that Brian obviously has been our top marathoner, and we certainly believe Brian has a very good chance of being an Olympian. And more importantly, when he makes that Olympic team, I think he'll run very well in the heat and humidity conditions in Beijing, and we're excited about that as well. Obviously, getting on the Olympic team is the first step, but running well once you get there is certainly, as you probably have gathered, we're not going to be content, and Brian certainly won't be content with just getting to the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
Getting, that'll be a major goal of his, and he's very happy if he accomplishes that. But he is going to go to the Olympic Games with the idea of accomplishing something else.
Yeah, this weather and the environment up in Michigan really does work for you guys really well everywhere.
It's honestly, that's the thing. I mean, we have 4 seasons, and we really do. And it's funny because people had said Brian's success in the last World Championships, where he finished in 9th place, and very interesting field, as there was 40 guys in the field that had sub 210s going into it and things, and so there's and I think 25 that had sub 209.
There were actually 19 guys that were under the former world record, the world record that was held until the late 70s. That was 208.31. There were 19 guys that had a personal best better than that.
Incredible.
So when you look at that field, a lot of people credited Brian to having that success because of the heat. And that he had that because of heat. Well, here we are in Boston now, and they're talking about a nor'easter coming in, and people are just going to be freezing, and how they can't, and how this is going to be an advantage for our athletes. So it's funny, we have an advantage when it's cold, we have the advantage when it's hot. Definitely. So it's like, so we like what we have. It's
I really hope for you guys there's no major championship ever at the Honolulu Marathon, because that's it. You guys are screwed. There's no advantage there.
Exactly.
It's so beautiful.
Exactly. We don't. I mean, that's the way it seems to fall, and so we like that. We do.
Sounds good. All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you joining us.